I'm going to hit record on the call.
Perfect.
And we'll get
I have her
started.
ready. All right.
Okay, welcome everybody. We're so grateful that you're joining us this Friday afternoon for a seminar on how to market your business during a crisis. We are joined this afternoon with a local expert on social media and content marketing, Donata White. Her company is Coffee Date Media. You can find her online at coffeedatemedia.com. And she also has donatawhite.com, I believe. Is that correct, Donata?
Ma'am.
Perfect. You can find her in 2 different places and then also social media as well. Donata, I want to go ahead and just jump right in. I know you've got a lot of information to share with us this afternoon, but our goal for today is to talk about how we can be maximizing what content we're putting online at the moment for the success of our business. So I'll let you take it from here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for the introduction. I really appreciate it. And I'm hoping to get through a lot today. So thank you guys for being patient with my speed talking. I'm going to try to get to a little bit of workshopping some of the stuff we talk about today. So that way we have some practice and you can ask questions and we can get those answered before I let you out into the wide world of social media. So as Rebecca mentioned, we are going over how to market your business during a crisis. And she did introduce the company, but I just wanted to say hello again. I'm Donata. And just as a little background on me and what I do, I did study journalism at UNC Chapel Hill, and then I graduated in 2010, and then I studied law at that university down the street. I was a practicing attorney in New York City for 4.5 years, and while I was in law school and then through when I was a practicing attorney, I started a blog and a YouTube channel just as a creative outlet. I missed that content creation that I had been doing in journalism school and in my internships. And at a certain point, after 22 million views on YouTube and people were coming to me left and right asking what I was doing to be so successful on social media, I thought, I've got something here. So I started Coffee Date Media to help other businesses do the very same thing that I had been able to accomplish. So our goal at CDM is to combine marketing strategy with visual art. So we don't just have a team of content creators, we have real artists. So we try to create really visually striking content that you guys can use on social media to leverage the power of social media, catch as many eyeballs as possible to help establish your authority, increase your exposure, and increase your income in the online space. So that's a little intro on us. Today's agenda, we've got 3 big points we want to hit. Number 1, we're going to be going over social media platforms, just an overview of the platforms you should be using, as well as the best practices for each one. We're also going to be going over other digital marketing avenues, what's available to you in the online space, in addition to social media, as we are social distancing, because obviously certain forms of marketing are not as impactful as they maybe were a few weeks ago. Word of mouth is not doing the same thing as it was. Signs out on the sidewalk, people are not out and about. So it's all got to be digital. So we're going to cover that as well. And then finally, we're going over messaging and content strategy. So what to say and why, which is the reason I'm sure many of you are all here. Your company's voice on social media during this time can really make or break not only your ability to bring in customers right now while everybody's social distancing and during these first couple of phases of reopening and recovery, but also your brand image going forward. If we don't hit the tone right and we don't say the right things now, your business is really going to have a tough time recovering in terms of your image and your income. So we've got 3 big topics to cover today, and I go through all of the above and more inside one of the signature programs that we offer, and that's an 8-week program. So we're really trying to pack in a ton of information today. I'm going to try to get you what you can use right now and cut as little of the fluff as possible. So Rebecca mentioned just a couple of housekeeping things. The slides will be available to you after, so don't worry about scribbling as fast as you can. You know, if you have some thoughts, some ideas for your own business, definitely jot those down. I don't want you to lose those. But in terms of what's on the slide, do not worry, those are going to be available to you. I also have a gift, a content calendar that you guys are going to get right after this. that you can use for the entire month of May to help you generate ideas for content that converts. You guys did not get that beforehand, but that will be coming along with the slides. There are 30 prompts or 31 prompts in there, and they're all dated, and you can use those to kind of spark your creativity when it comes to your content. Yes, Rebecca posted in the chat, feel free to submit questions as they come up. I will be periodically pausing to check the chat, so make sure that I don't move on without answering you guys' questions. All right, so after that little introduction, let's move on to the social media platforms. Your goals for social media in general, before we get into each platform and what to do for each one. Your social media goal as a business is different from somebody who might be just an influencer or someone who uses the platforms for fun. Your goal is profitability, not popularity. And I'm going to say that again because it's so important. You're not on social media to be popular. You are there to be profitable, and therefore you have to create your content in a certain way so that it actually converts to dollars in your business or customers in the door. You're not necessarily posting for the sake of posting. In fact, that can actually hurt you more than it can help you. You're not just trying to create content to get likes or followers or to get out there, but to actually attract and convert customers of clients for your business. For example, if you are a local restaurant, you do not care that people on the other side of the country follow you necessarily unless they regularly come back to the Chapel Hill area. That is not going to do much for you. We want local followers who are going to be in the door, frequenting your business regularly. So profitability, not popularity. Another thing, just a big general tip before we get into the individual social media platforms. Here is how to beat the algorithms, any and all algorithms. There's really one concept you need to know, and that is if you align your interests with the interest of the platform itself, the algorithms will reward you. So we're going to talk specifically about each of those 5 platforms that we mentioned, but in general, what you want to think about is how the platform makes money and act in a way that makes user behavior support the platform's goal. So in other words, think about how Instagram makes money. Think about how Facebook makes money. Platforms in general want users to stay on the platform without clicking out to any other outside links as long as possible. And in general, they want to make users consume as many ads as possible while they are there. So if you create content that is interesting, interactive, and keeps people on the platform consuming as much content and as many ads as possible, the algorithm is set up to favor that content. So as long as you're playing nice with the algorithms, you will be rewarded for helping support the platform's goal. And that's with any platform. We're going to, again, go into detail on each one. So if you create something, again, interesting, interactive, keeps people on the platform, the algorithm's going to push it and show it to more people. How you let the platform know your content is favorable, how you let the platform know that it's something that's keeping people on the platform is engagement. And we'll go into engagement tricks at the very end. That's likes, comments, clicks, shares, saves, anything that gets a user to interact with your post is how the algorithm is going to determine that your post is very cool and is keeping people's attention. So we don't want to focus on getting likes as our end goal. We always want to focus on conversion of customers. But in terms of exposure, engagement is the name of the game in order to beat the algorithm and make sure as many of your followers see your posts as possible. And I do see a question, is there a rule of thumb on how often to post? Don't worry, we're going to go over that for each and every platform because it is different on each and every platform, which I'm sure is very frustrating for everybody here. All right, so I'm moving my little screens around here, so forgive me a second. So let's talk about Facebook first, because I'm sure this is the one that many of you have kind of defaulted to. This is the one you use the most if you are on social media. You're most likely to be using this one already. Right now, the biggest demographic for Facebook, who is on Facebook, is people in their 30s, 40s, and older. Generally, younger people, teens, early 20s, are not really using Facebook like they used to. And the reason this is important is because if your customer demographic is that younger group, this is not a platform you need to bother with, because again, our goal is customer conversion, not just popularity, not just getting out there. So it's important that you choose your platforms based on who is there using them. Where is your customer hanging out? Where is the person that you are trying to get in the door? Are they on Facebook even? If they're that younger group, they may not be there. They could, but it's not a platform you're going to need to spend too much time on if they're not in that group. So right now, the biggest demographic on Facebook, again, is 30s plus, and it's best used for providing updates and value add content to your audience, meaning a lot of people are on Facebook seeking updates about your business hours, menu changes, updated policies and procedures, opening and closing, that sort of things, updates on your business that you will need people to know when coming to your location or interacting with your business in some way. It's also a great place to post value add content, things that people are going to get something out of right away. So when they see the post, either a tip or something exciting, something nice to look at, something entertaining, inspirational, it's good for that as well. Best practices for Facebook. Post 1 to 2 times a day. It does not even have to be once a day, but you do need to post at least 4 to 5 times a week to be regularly seen on the platform. You want to be consistent, but you don't want to be constant, if that makes sense. There's a big balance to be struck here. So anywhere between 4 and 10 times a week on Facebook, distributed no more than twice a day, is a good way to go. The reason for that is if you post too little, there's not enough engagement on your profile or your business page for Facebook to want to push your content out to your followers because they don't interact enough with it. It's inconsistent. Facebook is not going to see it as something that's regularly keeping people on the platform and staying there longer, so it's not going to be exposed to as many people. However, if you go 3 times a day, 7 days a week, Facebook is going to start docking you because it's thinking that you're spamming their users, and that goes on the other end of the spectrum of it's not keeping people on the platform because it's annoying them. So we want to keep it in that 1 to 2 posts a day, 5 to 7 days a week if you can. I like to do weekdays and then occasionally a weekend post. You don't have to do weekends. You can pick a schedule that kind of works for your bandwidth in your business, but 1 to 2 times a day, 5 to 7 days a week is really the thing to do. Now, when you're posting on Facebook, try not to post text only because again, the algorithm has been set up to account for the fact that people interact more with content that has a visual element. So text only posts do not have as much reach as posts with image or video included. So when you can, post with an image or video. Reply to every comment received to double the engagement on the post. This is something that people don't realize, but when you comment on your own posts as your business page or as an employee of the business or as your personal profile, it doesn't matter where you comment from. If you are replying to a comment that you receive, you essentially double the engagement because it counts as a comment. Your comments count. So when someone says, hey, great post, even if it's not a meaningful comment, reply to it, say thanks so much for reading, or thank you so much for spending time with us, or whatever. If you reply, it counts as a second comment. So that increases the engagement right away. And another thing that you can do to increase the engagement on your posts is to share from your business page to your personal. That counts as a share on the original post, which boosts your exposure in the algorithm because, again, Facebook thinks, oh, this post is so cool, people are sharing it. It shows it to more people that way. So if you have a business page and a personal page, which I'm seeing in the chat that some of you have a personal page, your company has a page, limited availability, personal page. So here's something to be aware of with Facebook. You cannot conduct business from a personal page on Facebook. That is against Facebook's user agreement. What you can do is talk about your business from a personal perspective on a personal page. You can also share from your business page to your personal page. If you are an employee, like for example, you're a business owner, your business has a business page, and then you as the owner can take everything from that business page and share it over. That is fine. What we want to make sure is that we're not conducting business from a personal profile. So if your business has a page that is set up as a personal profile, I would go ahead and switch that over to a business page pretty much right away because that is against the user agreement. Not that Facebook has been very militant about finding and shutting down these profiles, but it has been known to happen. So just make sure you're playing by the rules. Now, let's move on to Instagram. Instagram has a little bit.
One more question
Yes.
in the chat. Hannah is asking, if you hyperlink an article that populates an image in Facebook, does that count for being an image with the post?
No, it does not. That is an amazing question. And yes, I should be very clear about this. What I would do instead is, if you're hyperlinking an article and it's an article that you own the image that's going to pop up, I would download the image, and while I would keep the post itself exactly the same, keep the hyperlink, but add that image as a photo to the post. So it has to be natively uploaded to count as visual content. So if you're linking and it does that auto-populate thing where it shows you the title and it shows you a little thumbnail image from the article, that doesn't count as visual content. The reason Facebook has done that is because it realizes it keeps people on the platform longer, but it doesn't count for you to boost your exposure.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's not, because what they really don't want is you hyperlinking and linking people out of the platform, because then you're leaving. So what they want is for people to stay on the platform. So it actually helps you to natively upload your visual content, either your photos or your videos. So what I do is, when I upload a brand new YouTube video, instead of linking the YouTube video and letting Facebook auto-populate that preview, I take the same image that I use for the video thumbnail, I upload that as a post, and then in my description of the photo, I put the link to the video. So it counts as natively uploaded content, gives you a little boost. So
thank you, Tom. Did we answer your question? I think what I got from Donna's answer is you would get more bandwidth if you have a personal page, but you don't have to have it.
All right. I'm really trying to crank through this, guys. I'm sorry. There's so much to talk about here. So I think it's because I am not seeing the chat option anymore.
It's okay. I'm happy to moderate the chat for you.
Thank you. I really appreciate you. I'm like juggling like 4 windows here. Okay. Instagram. They have a little bit of a younger demographic. Some people in their teens, 20s, early 20s are on there. So if your customers are a little bit younger, this is going to be a good platform for you. And also, if you're not using this one, but you are using Facebook, just go ahead and get an Instagram, because they're owned by the same company. The content you can post on Instagram is very similar to Facebook, but also targeted toward a younger demographic. So if you're not using Instagram, but you have a Facebook, just go ahead and set yourself up a profile on Instagram. This is also great for updates, value add content, and the additional benefit of Instagram is, I've seen with my clients, additional connection with customers on Instagram versus Facebook. It's a little bit easier to message people. It's easier. It's a more lighthearted platform. People are not so consumed by the news and the headlines and stuff on Instagram like they would be on Facebook. So it's a little bit easier to forge kind of a personal connection with your customers on Instagram, just because of the way the platform is. Again, best practices for Instagram: 1 to 2 times a day, similar to Facebook. Post too little, you don't get exposure because they don't think you're consistent enough. Post too much, they think you're a spam account. So 1 to 2 times a day, 5 to 7 days a week is a great middle ground to get you the amount of exposure and the consistency that we want to see. Always post high quality images or videos on Instagram. It's a visual platform. Every single post has an image or video attached. You cannot post text only in Instagram. You can, however, post graphic images that are text, but you have to create those in another design software. But you always want to use something that's high definition, just because it's such a visual platform. People keep scrolling right by things that don't look nice. So make sure everything you post looks really good for Instagram. The other thing you want to do is use Instagram stories. This is one that people miss, but it is the only thing that is unaffected by the Instagram algorithm. It's the only thing that's kind of that old school chronological posting. So Instagram stories, I recommend posting 4 to 10 clips a day at different times of the day. So normally the algorithm limits your visibility to the people who interact with your profiles the most. But on Instagram stories, every single person who follows you will see your story, because the moment you post an Instagram story, your profile picture pops up right at the front of that Instagram story queue. So if you go to Instagram, you'll see something like this. This is all my friends right here, because that's who I'm seeing. It's the only thing left in the Instagram platform that's chronological. So even though my friend Angie has tens of thousands of followers and my friend Carly has maybe 1,000, it does not matter. The algorithm has not shown me one over the other because Carly actually posted most recently. So Carly's picture has popped up to the front, whereas Angie's is right behind her, and Stevie and Lynette and Erica are behind her. So it comes up in the order they're posted in rather than the order some algorithm thinks you're gonna enjoy the most. So Instagram stories are your chance to get in front of every single person who follows you multiple times a day. And that's why I recommend 4 to 10 clips a day posted multiple times a day. I also recommend, if possible, use the text and sticker features on Instagram stories. Again, those features are available on the platform for a reason. Instagram has determined that using these features makes the stories more interesting, make people want to watch them, makes them interact with the platform longer. So if you use those features, Instagram likes your stories a little bit more. So use the text. If you're posting Instagram story clips that are video, a lot of people watch with the sound off, so they will skip your video if it's not captioned. So if you're posting a video, it's worth it to kind of caption the video with the text feature. You can also use hashtags, locations, polls, questions, mentions, all of that in Instagram stories as well. And if you use a couple of those features every time you post, it makes your story more interesting and interactive for your followers. Now, the question I always get here is, what about Facebook stories? Facebook has stories too. Instagram stories tend to do better. I have not seen the same effect from Facebook stories. And the reason is, I don't know why they've done this, but the way Facebook stories look in the app and on the website is just not very clickable, so they don't get as much traffic. Instagram stories come up the second you look at the app in your phone, and it's right on top, and there are cute little circles and you can just click and run through them. Facebook stories are not as clickable when you go to the app or the website, so I haven't seen very much traffic, very much positive benefit from people using them. You can go ahead and share your Instagram story to Facebook story. There's an auto post feature from Instagram, but people don't watch them as much, so it's something I could skip. If you need a little bit more bandwidth for something else on social media, I would skip Facebook stories. I don't think they're as good of a time investment as Instagram stories are.
Great. We got 2 questions here before you keep moving forward. So Tabitha wonders if we should post at the same time each day or mix it up.
So the good thing about having a business profile on Instagram and on Facebook is that you have access to your analytics, and the platforms will actually tell you when your followers are the most active. But you may want to experiment. There's a few factors here. When can you post that day? Sometimes you're just not going to be available at 3 p.m. or whenever you've decided your posts go up. So your own personal schedule and your bandwidth is number one. The second thing is, when you take a look at your analytics, it will be different on different days. But the platform analytics themselves will tell you, okay, on Tuesdays, your followers are most active at this time. On Wednesdays and Thursdays, your followers are most active at this time. So if you check your analytics, it should tell you when the best times to post are. But really the best time is whenever you're consistent, because your followers will figure out when your schedule is. So you can determine the schedule, be consistent with that for several weeks, and the people who really do interact with you on a regular basis are going to see your posts no matter what, because the algorithm will account for that posting time, and they'll know that they like your post, so they'll show it to them whenever they show up on the platform. So choose a schedule that works for you. If you can align it with the analytics, go ahead. If not, I wouldn't spend too much time worrying about it. I would just be consistent with whatever works for you on what day. If you want to do a little experiment and post in the afternoon one week and in the morning the following week and see which does better for you, you can do that as well.
So Bridget and Jasmine have 2 questions that kind of go together, and I'm looking at your slide, so this may all play into one answer, Donata, but Bridget's wondering, of all the apps that you use to post for Instagram, are there any scheduling apps that you recommend? And the same with Jasmine, what best scheduler, or how can we best use schedulers to take advantage of best scheduling times?
Okay, so I only use a scheduler for Instagram. And the reason I do that is because I tend to post the most content on Instagram, so I need to keep track of it somewhere. So I use an app called Planoly. Planoly, Planoly. And it's not very expensive. There is a free version that you can get. I have the one up from free just because I post more content than is available on the free version. However, we're going to get to this. I don't auto post from the scheduler. I have it send a notification to my phone and then I post manually. And we'll learn about this in just a second. The reason is the apps want you to be on the app. They don't want you automating everything. They want you to be a participant. So they kind of dock you a little bit when you use automatic posting features instead of posting manually. So what I would recommend is use a scheduler to kind of get yourself organized, and then you can go back and actually manually post the content when it's time to get the maximum exposure. So the question that I get here, because this sounds like a lot, 1 to 2 times a day on both Facebook and Instagram. Can I post the same thing on Facebook and Instagram? And the answer is yes, you can. Don't drive yourself nuts trying to come up with 4 posts a day. You can post the same photos and videos on Facebook and Instagram. However, again, don't use the auto post feature from Instagram to Facebook. The reason is, again, Mark Zuckerberg loves when you are scrolling Facebook, and he wants you to be on the platform posting instead of automatically posting things. So what you can do instead is post to Instagram, copy your caption on whatever device you're on, manually upload the photo, and then copy and paste the caption into Facebook. So it's a few extra clicks, but it's not that much extra work. But the other reason you might want to do this, aside from the little algorithm hit you're going to take if you auto post, is the platforms have different specs for their captions. So you've got a shorter character limit on Instagram. You only have 2,200 characters. And you don't have the ability to put live links in your Instagram caption. So if you're asking somebody to click something, you're going to have to say, click the link in my bio or click the link in my profile if you're on Instagram, because you can't embed a link into your Instagram captions. However, you can put links in on Facebook. So if you copy and paste the caption, manually re-upload your image on Facebook, it can be the very same caption, the very same messaging, the very same image. But if you copy and paste it to Facebook, you then have the ability to add any links or expand on any ideas that may have gotten cut short with that shorter Instagram caption link. So just reformat the caption a little bit if you're reposting to Facebook, just to make it play nice with the platform. But you can post the same thing on Instagram and Facebook, so you don't have to drive yourself nuts creating a million pieces of content. That's my job, not yours. So, do what you do in your job. Don't be the content person. That's going to take way too much time. Now, the other question I get when I tell people this is, will my audience be annoyed if I post the same thing on Facebook and Instagram? Why, if they see the same thing twice a day, are they going to be annoyed? And the answer is no, they won't. The Facebook and Instagram algorithms, once again, only show your feed posts to the most engaged portion of your audience. When you post something on either one of these platforms, not everybody who follows you sees it. It's only about 30% of your following sees what you actually post in the feed, unless it does particularly well with engagement, and then that number will expand. So if you post the same thing on Instagram and Facebook, it's very unlikely that a single user will see your post on both platforms, because maybe Instagram will show it to them, but Facebook won't, just because it's a majority of people aren't going to see it on either platform anyway. And if somebody does see it on both platforms, Facebook and Instagram, it's because they already really like you. It's because they already interact with you on both platforms very regularly. They're always liking and commenting on everything you do on both platforms. And that person is not going to be annoyed by seeing your content twice, because they already like you. They're just going to cheer you on both platforms, give you a like and a comment on either one. So you don't have to worry about people being annoyed if you take advantage of this tactic of posting the same content on 2 platforms on the same day. So let's quickly go through Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube, because I think these Facebook and Instagram is kind of going to cover it for most of you. Twitter is everybody from teens up. I think there's even some children on Twitter. Approve or disapprove. Twitter is ideal for updates only. It's not really ideal for discovery, connection, or for value add content, just because you don't have a lot of room on Twitter to say anything. It's really only good for updates. And with this platform, you can post a little more often. You can post 5 to 10 times a day because it's a little bit more fast moving. It's almost like the second you post, within minutes, it almost disappears because it's chronological. It keeps scrolling, and Twitter moves very, very quickly. So tweets made in the morning are not really going to be seen in the afternoon. So you can post a few more times a day to stay on top of the feed. You'll actually want to tweet up to 5 to 10 times a day. And this is just good for updates. You can post the same tweet with slightly different wording 3 times at, morning, afternoon, and evening, and a different set of people is going to see it every time. However, again, if you're struggling to find time to commit to social media, Twitter is one I would probably not spend a ton of time on, because it's not a great platform for getting new people into your business. It's not a great platform for discoverability or for having really meaningful interactions with your followers, because you just don't have enough room. The character limit, I think it's like 240 characters now or something. It's so short. It's like enough for a couple of sentences. And there's not too many ways to be discovered on Twitter. It's really just hashtags, and that's it. So there's not too many ways for new people to find you. The platform is very limited. I don't really use it that much for my business. I send a link out or an update out every so often, but it's really only good for sending out updates, quick things that you want people who are already following you to go ahead and see. But other than that, I wouldn't count on becoming super popular on Twitter with new people who are actually going to convert to customers. LinkedIn is another one that you may be on as the owner of your business or as somebody who works for the business. Your business might also be on LinkedIn. The demographic is professionals, pretty much. Only professionals, not necessarily all your customers, but professionals in their 20s and older. It's great for value add content, meaning content that is an article or something entertaining, inspirational, educational. It's not amazing for discoverability in terms of customer conversion, but it is great for networking, and I'm sure you guys have experienced that as well. I would say the best practices for LinkedIn: post 3 to 4 times a week. You can post a little bit less often here. Again, it can be a version of what you post on Facebook or Instagram. Just kind of polish it up and professionalize it for LinkedIn, for your new audience on LinkedIn. Connect with people via message, and just the connection and networking that's inherent in the platform. And also, again, you want to post content with a visual element: a photo, a video, thumbnail, a link preview. LinkedIn, you can actually use the link preview. So if you post a link for a YouTube video or for an article on LinkedIn, it will do that same thing that Facebook does and auto-populate you with a little thumbnail and a little blurb. That is fine to keep on LinkedIn. LinkedIn does not penalize you for that. So yeah, just make sure you're posting value add, sort of professionalized content on LinkedIn as yourself, not necessarily as your business, unless your business has kind of a good size following on LinkedIn. Once again, in terms of like customer facing conversion here, not the one I would spend the most time on, but it is a good one if you're looking for professional connection, or if your business is something that is geared more toward professionals. This is a good one to use. And then finally, we have YouTube, and this is my favorite, and it's so underutilized because it takes a lot more time. So I understand why people don't want to invest the time in YouTube. There's a steep learning curve, but everyone and their mother and their cousin is on YouTube. Every single person uses YouTube, from children all the way up to grandmas. Everyone uses YouTube, and it's amazing for adding value and your searchability. The reason YouTube is so amazing for getting discovered is because it is Google searchable. YouTube is a search engine, not just a social media platform. And not only is it a search engine, it's owned by the biggest search engine in the entire world, which is Google. So when you post a video on YouTube that is in the top 3 for a certain keyword or phrase, if somebody Googles that same keyword or phrase, your video will come up on page 1 of the Google search results. So you're not getting only YouTube exposure, you're also getting Google searchable exposure based on your YouTube uploads. The other thing I love about YouTube is that videos actually do better the longer they're on the platform. Unlike other social media platforms where things kind of disappear the older they get, YouTube videos age like fine wine. The longer they're on the platform, the more views they accumulate, the better they do in the algorithm, and the more people see them. So YouTube videos don't really age, they kind of just get better with time. It also allows you the opportunity to provide a library of material that you can use to get noticed online and as resources for your current customers. If you make a video about a frequently asked question, you never have to answer that question again, because you can send the link to the video and you never have to answer the same question over and over and over again for the rest of your business existence. It's a great way to create a nice resource library for your customers. It also doesn't require the same amount of uploads. YouTube, you could do 1 to 2 times a week. That is totally fine. Make sure you're posting HD video, 4K video if you can, with a widescreen aspect ratio. Make sure you have clear, exciting thumbnails that people are going to want to click on, and that your video titles are something that people would be searching for in the search bar. So don't just title it something like clickbaity, or you think that people are going to understand, you know, or think it's funny. You want the title of the video to be something that people would be searching for, because that is how your video matches with searches and comes up for people who are seeking the exact answer that you are providing in your video. So make sure your titles and your tags are also searchable. So before we move on to other digital marketing, now that we've
we've got just a queue of a few questions. Yes. So Leslie McAdams just wants to clarify, she's with Building One here locally, and she wants to clarify that, is it like a daisy chain of Instagram to business Facebook to personal Facebook, 3 posts of the same content?
No. So what you would do is you don't have to post in any certain order, Instagram or Facebook, Facebook or Instagram. You can do either one of those things first. You just don't have to create original content for both. So let's say I have an idea, I've got a photo, I've got a caption. I can post that same photo and caption on Instagram, Facebook, doesn't matter what order, just as long as I natively upload to both platforms. So I've got to upload the photo and caption to Instagram, and at some point upload the same photo and caption to Facebook. Once it's on my business Facebook page, then I go ahead from my personal profile and share it. So you're not creating a third post, you're just sharing it to your personal profile. So you're only creating 2 native posts, and then you share the Facebook one to your personal. So I hope that clarifies.
Well, the image might be same, the text would maybe change a little bit. So
the text might change just based on the platform, but you actually don't need to change the caption at all when you do the share. So you can just share it with no explanation, or you can add a little blurb if you want, if you think that adds some more context for your personal friends, but you don't really need to do anything other than hit the share button once you do that, once it's on Facebook on your business page.
And I think I know your answer to this, but what are your thoughts on using Hootsuite?
Hootsuite is great for organization. I do use it for one client that I have that has us manage 37 Facebook pages. So, however, if you're not managing 37 Facebook pages for a client, I would go ahead and just upload natively. It's easy to keep yourself organized without using an automatic posting software. But if you're managing multiple pages, the hit that you're taking in the algorithm is not going to be worth you manually doing everything. So once it reaches the point where you're managing multiple pages, either you're a social media agency like we are, or you've just got a bunch of pages going, something like Hootsuite is going to be worth your time at that point, because you've got to save your sanity. Instead of managing all these pages manually, it's just going to be easier to use something like Hootsuite. But if it's just one Facebook page, I wouldn't use it.
Great. And then, so Jasmine is looking for a YouTube editor. So Jasmine owns and runs Nanny Posse, which is an up and coming place to help with nannies and babysitters. If y'all don't know about Nanny Posse, everybody check it out. But she's doing video and borrowing the chamber's lighting and stuff at the moment. And so she's looking to get a new YouTube editor.
Okay. Well, we may have somebody for you. So send me an email and I'll see exactly what you need, and we can hook you up with somebody.
Great. And that's a somebody and not a software?
A YouTube editor or software? Do you need a person or a?
That's a good question. Jasmine, maybe you can clarify or unmute to clarify if you'd like.
Hi. So I'm looking for software, but I wouldn't be opposed to a person.
Okay. Okay. Well, I have a couple people in mind that I would have to contact first. Okay. Just to see if they're available. But if you're looking for software, I use Power Director. It's affordable. It's really easy to learn. It doesn't have all the amazing, like super fancy features that like an Adobe would have, but it's really good. It's affordable. You don't have to pay monthly for it. You just download it and use it on your computer. For YouTube, it works perfectly fine. So
Okay.
Cyberlink Power Director is the one that I would recommend.
Okay.
Doing it yourself.
Wonderful.
And
And then
I will
everyone
message you after about people.
Perfect.
And while we're here, I think everybody should take a minute to look at the chat. And there's a note from Kristen with UNC on the call. She sent a really nice article from social media today about the best times to be posting right now. So thank you for sharing that, Kristen.
Kristen, yes, thank you so much for sharing that. And I will add, I haven't seen this article. I'm definitely going to be looking at it after this. But these times are going to vary for your business individually because everybody's audience is different. So yes, start with this, but if you need to make adjustments, don't feel like there's something wrong if these times don't work for you. You may just need to shift a little bit because your audience just may not be active at certain times. So thank you for those questions. Those are awesome. So let's move on to other marketing avenues. I'm going to speed through this because the next.
It's 4:14 right now.
I know. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. The next two things that you may want to consider that are digital marketing avenues for you is email marketing. I would use this as the official communication for your customer base. If you don't have an email list, now is a good time to get one. You would usually trade a coupon or a free resource of some sort in exchange for your person's email address. So you can set that up on your website and advertise that your freebie or your coupon is available on social media and collect email addresses so that you can use that as your official business communication for an audience that has opted in to that. The second thing you can do is pitch for media opportunities and with the other businesses in the chamber for social media collaboration. So you have access to a really vast community of a ton of different types of businesses here with the chamber, and everybody's kind of doing the same thing right now, right? We want more digital exposure, and you can very easily create a win-win situation with a complementary business, not a competitor, but somebody whose business is complementary to yours, where you can create tandem social media content to expose each other to each other's audiences. Maybe I know business A, but I don't know business B. And if business A and B collaborate, I can be introduced to business B through business A. So if you've got some people in mind whose businesses you think are awesome and you think your audiences would like each other, be in contact, see what you can do to create a social media collaboration that is a win-win for both parties. So here's what to say on social. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. I'm going to try to speed through and get you exactly what you need. So remember, our goal on social media is profitability, not popularity. So we don't want to post social media content just for the sake of posting. We don't just want to get out there. Actually doing that is going to hurt you more than it helps you, because like we've been discussing with the algorithms, if your content isn't well thought out, it's just kind of there, your audience won't engage with it. And if your audience doesn't engage with it regularly, that tells the algorithm that your posts aren't that cool. They're uninteresting. They don't keep people on the platform. And then when you do eventually post something awesome, you've already trained the algorithm to think that your posts can be ignored. So the algorithm won't show it to as many people. So we want to make sure that everything we post is well thought out, and it's something that attracts, engages, and converts. And that's a 3-step process. It's not just one lump thing. It's attract, engage, and convert. It's 3 different steps. So attraction, that's creating content that your audience would be searching for, or something that's shareable that your audience will then share with people who don't know you. The whole point is attracting new people to your social media platforms. Creating something they're searching for. Another way to do this to attract clients is to show up as an authority or leader in your industry, somebody with the answers to their problems. Because when somebody has a problem, what do? They go to Google, they go to social media, they look everywhere for the answer on the internet before they ask a real person. So if you are putting out content that is the response to the question they haven't asked yet, when they do search, you're going to be the one that pops up. So you want to show up as an authority, a leader, somebody with the answers. Tools like hashtags, SEO, location tagging, things like that. That comes in at the attraction stage of the process. And we don't have time to go into techniques for all of those tools, but understand that things like hashtags and SEO are part of the attraction part of the process. They are step 1. You are still responsible for engaging and converting the people who show up. Hashtags will not save your content if it's not engaging and converting. right? Getting it in front of the right people only helps if it's designed to convert into customers.
All right, let's pause real quick.
Yes.
Ely with Olmaz Jewelers. It's a new jewelry store that's open in Eastgate if you haven't had a chance to meet him yet.
Hello.
He would like to know, okay, Ely, I'm going to try to say this right. I've never heard of this before. Mentioning engagement. He has heard of people mentioning engagement pods or following chains on Instagram. Do those things work?
Temporarily, yes. Over the long term, no. Because if the algorithm picks up that it's the same people kind of engaging in a circle and nobody new is coming in, people outside that circle don't see the posts. So over time, they go stale.
But to launch a new business or to start, that might be
I mean, it's a matter of a couple of, like, maybe a week. It's really, really short. So it works temporarily and it works intermittently, but I would not rely on it for a ton of engagement.
Perfect. Thank
All
you.
right.
Tom will hold on your question for right now.
Sorry. The next step of the process is engagement, and we want to keep our all of our content customer focused. Your social media channels are not about you as much as you are the one with the name in the title of the profile. Keep all of your content customer focused. How will what you're saying or what you offer help the person reading it? How will it inspire them, entertain them, educate them, make them excited to interact with your business in some way? We want to make them excited and want to interact with your business. What do they want to see or hear? Right now, here's what's working. Right now, people are tired of feeling contained, afraid, restricted, doom and gloom. They go to social media for a break from that stuff. So if you are posting things that are positive, a little bit of humor, helpful information, all of those things are going to do really well because you're providing them what they're looking for. They're looking for a little bit of a break from the very serious situation that's going on. Here's what doesn't work. Desperation and guilt tripping. And I don't mean to like throw shade or call anybody in particular out. I haven't seen any of you do this. I've seen other people do this though, and it's not cute. Desperation and guilt tripping do not work to convert customers. The reason is because it just adds more negativity to an already negative situation that they're coming to social media to get a break from. And if you are making them feel negative, they're going to have a negative association with your business. So avoid using messaging like, please support us, or airing all of the problems that your business is experiencing because money isn't coming in, because COVID-19 ruined everything. We don't want to do messaging like that, because the reaction to that, the visceral reaction your audience is going to have is, well, I'm trying to support myself and my family. It feels icky, it feels guilt trippy instead of being a positive experience with your business. You may get them to support you once, but it's not going to be a long-term relationship with that person because you didn't make them feel good when they interacted with your business. So instead of saying, please support us, make it a positive experience for them. So here are some ninja strategies for engagement. Like and reply to every single comment. That essentially doubles the engagement on the post. On Facebook, share posts from your business page to your personal page, and share everything you post from your Instagram feed into your Instagram stories. That is how you take advantage of making sure everybody who follows you sees your Instagram post. You can work around the algorithm by posting your Instagram feed post to your Instagram stories. And the last step is conversion, getting them to do what you want them to do, because we're not just here to be popular, we're here to be profitable. Calls to action. People don't do anything if you don't tell them to. So before you create the post, even think about what you want the person to do when they read it. Do you want them to comment? Do you want them to share? Do you want them to click on a link? And design your post to get that one desired result. What do you need to do or show them or tell them in order to get them to do what you want them to do? Add one call to action. If you ask them to do too many things, they're going to get overwhelmed and they're not going to do any of it. The other thing is make your conversion easy. Ordering, gift cards, transactions, communication. You want as few steps as possible between when they see the post and when they can make the conversion. You want to have as few clicks and as few seconds as possible between when they read your post and when they do the thing. So they should be able to see your post and order within 2 or 3 clicks. If it takes too long or has too many steps, you're going to lose people, and it's going to be a higher percentage of people that you lose the longer it takes. So do we have any questions before we move on to the example, and then we can
think we're all set. There was a question about tone. Can you present ever a place for humor right now? But I think you touched on that.
Absolutely can. I think people are welcoming it, honestly. As long as it's tasteful and not offensive in any way, I think people are absolutely seeking and responding positively to humor for sure.
That's right.
So let's see all this in action. We're going to analyze an example post from a fictional restaurant trying to bring in customers during the stay-at-home order. And please feel free to use the chat feature to tell me which one of these is more appealing, the left or the right. On the left, we have a photo that says, "We love Chapel Hill and we hope you love us back. Times are tough, so please support Burger Place by ordering takeout between 4 and 8 p.m. all this weekend." On the right, we have a picture of somebody handing you 2 burgers, and the caption says, "Woohoo, it's finally Friday. We know you're tired from Zoom calls and homeschooling your kiddos all week. Let us give you a break for dinner. We're here to deliver the deliciousness from 4 to 8 p.m. Which one of those is more appealing and would you rather take action on?
And point in your screen. Okay, I think it's obvious. I want the one with the hush puppy on top. What is that?
I mean, yeah, right? So there's a few things that make this a little bit better. Number one, the photo is more engaging. There is a person in the photo. It's not just a photo of a burger. It's you. The photo is almost interacting with you in a way. It's somebody handing you something. And the tone is more customer focused on the right. It's not, "Please support us. Our business is struggling." It's, "Oh my God, this week has been tough, but you made it to Friday. Let us take care of dinner. How does this look? We're here to deliver the deliciousness from 4 to 8 p.m. It makes you feel good to interact with this business because it's almost like you're treating yourself. They've created a positive experience around ordering. What would make this even better is if you could order directly from a link either in the caption or in their bio without having to call them up, without having to do too many clicks, without, you know, the faster you make that conversion, the more orders you're going to get from this post on the right.
Perfect. We're at 4:25 right now.
I know.
Everybody
And so
okay
I'm
to
going
keep
to have you guys
hanging out?
workshop this, but you know, it's your turn. I'm going to have you do this, you know, some other time after this. Come up with a post for your business that attracts, engages, and converts. Think about why would your customer be attracted to it, why they would engage with it, and what is your target conversion. So we're not going to have a few minutes to do that now. We're going to wrap up and take any questions that you have. But after this, when you guys get the slides, make sure you do this exercise for every single post that you post on social media. Why would they be attracted to this? Why would they engage with or share the post? And what have I asked them to do? And have I made it fast and easy for them to do that thing?
So I'm happy to open it up if you have any lingering questions and want to put it in the chat. Also, if you want to stay for another 15 minutes, you can either drop off the call if you want, or we can do what we've planned, which is go into small groups, meet a couple fellow business owners, and just have a little workshop brainstorming time. And then we'll call you back into the main group after that if you'd like. So
we can absolutely do that. I don't know, like technologically, if you guys are going to have access to the slide when we do that.
Yeah, you won't have access to the slide. So go ahead, and if you want to stay around for the small groups, Jasmine's in. If you want to pop off, this is the end of Donata's full official presentation. But the goal in the small group would be to introduce yourself to a couple fellow business owners here on the call, get to say hello to someone, and talk quickly about some social media content you're thinking about maybe using for your business, and workshop engagement with it. Is it a good idea? Is it good content? Or how could you level it up together?
Right. For those of you who are having to hop off, I'm going to go ahead and drop my contact information in the chat so that if you need me, you can find me at the agency website, my personal website, or you can send me an email. It was a pleasure for those of you who are dropping off to be with you today. Otherwise, I'm staying for the workshop portion.
Great.
And everyone, I will send the slides soon.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Vanessa. I appreciate that.
Perfect. So any burning questions while we let the people hop off the call who need to leave?